This is Swede. We're at the elitefts compound the day after the second powerlifting experience.
When you're a beginner, you can do, anything and you go improve.
Okay.
So that's the easiest thing. That's just really easy. So that's the easy one. But when you're experienced, as far as guys, as far as I'm concerned, benching one time heavy, one time moderate, lighter speed day a week. But with women, and I know for a fact that it takes a lot of volume. A lot of volume to me helps the women. Because I have women bench more reps throughout the week. They'll do like sets of, I have them do, like if it's in the off season or just, out from the meet, they bench 3 times a week, and it'll always be sets of fives, three to five sets of fives. It'll be probably like 80% on the 2 other days. On the heavy day, we'll go whatever.
Okay, so you like all out there and then like an 80% there. So I do, the way I do my program is, it's not per week because there's a 9-day microcycle instead of the 7-day 1 week microcycle.
Right.
Okay, so it's basically 9 days that it rotates. It allows you to do more work.
Right.
So you can hit pressing really hard twice in that period of time. However, one of them is actually a true strength training day.
Right.
And the other one is either like a hypertrophy day with really high rep scheme or a speed day.
Right.
Training for speed, more like a...
There's so many ways to do it.
Yeah, but it's basically the same thing you just said, twice a week benches.
Right, exactly. Well, I have to do 3. That'll
Two
be
different things.
Yeah,
Okay, for women, 3. Yeah. And you could do that for beginners.
Right. It'll be two of the moderate days, and the other day will be heavy day. And then, because like they'll just be, and maybe even the heavy day will be like 85%. And
Right.
like topping out, 85% set of 5. That's a little bit different than 80% of 5 or 78.
Right. See, this is a progressive 80
Right.
too. The way we do it is you
Right.
start the first week with 80, and then it's progressive. They're adding weight every week.
Exactly.
In that cycle.
Always.
So it'll be like maybe 85% by the time they have to deload in 6 cycles. Okay, or whatever. It could be maybe 82.5%, something like that. But they're doing 4 doubles and then an all out set also, which is basically like almost a hypertrophy set in the beginning, and it gets down to where they can only do maybe 3. So 4 doubles and 3 with 85% it's a good amount of volume.
True, it is.
So it ends up working out pretty well that way, and it's self-regulating.
So many different ways to do it.
And there's no. Basically, we have guidelines. The prolapin chart is like the holy grail of how many reps you need to hit in a certain percentage range, and if you hit that amount of lifts, in the way that it's laid out, it's going to work.
Right.
Any scheme works. I just kind of found a novel way to do it that's self-regulating, so I don't have to always have my hands. I work with, on my team, I have 15 lifters. I'm one coach.
Right.
We're all training at once. So it's easier for me. The reason that I really kind of got everything so systemized is I can just say, okay, well, now you know what you got to do next.
Right.
You know what you got to do next.
That's true. Yeah,
and it works as good as anything else, if not better. In my opinion, there's no need for anything else the way I do it.
You got to be confident, believe in your style and what you do. You know what I'm saying? If you don't, they're not going to.
Right. You see people talk about a certain program, they don't even do it.
That's right.
Like, I'm here. I was doing fifth set today. Just got done. 10 minutes ago.
Speed, how you balance yours?
Well, I have my program, the way I do it, fifth set, is the ebook that I wrote. You're never going to be doing both of those at a high relative volume with a high relative percentage to the volume. You know what I mean? So it's either one or the other is really getting pushed in the training cycle. And what I do is basically I relegate, like for example, if deadlift was something I thought needed the most improvement, I would drop the percentage to the 70% area and maybe do 5 sets of 3 with a mechanically similar movement for an additional maybe 3 sets of 3 or 3 sets of 5. Work on speed off the floor and technical proficiency, okay? Because in my opinion, technique is paramount. It's the most important thing.
Most definitely.
By far, yeah. Programming is cool. Programming is important. There's a lot of novel ways to do things. If your technique is shit, it's not going to help. It's not going to do anything. The best program in the world is not going to work for you if your technique sucks.
That's exactly right.
There's nothing more important than that. But as far as that goes, how I balance it, I have a saying that I use a lot with people I work with. If you chase 2 rabbits, both get away. So, go after one or the other at a time.
Yep.
Okay, and the other one is I'm working on. That's not to say that you can't. You can really push the squat like in the 80% range. With what I did with the fifth set protocol is basically how that works. Is 4 doubles and then 1 set of as many reps as possible at around 80%. And then that one you're pushing pretty hard. That's pretty heavy. That's a lot of volume with a relatively heavy percentage. But then, for example, in that case with a deadlift, that would be a much lighter percentage, but we're working more on technique. And those technical improvements will sometimes bring about a larger increase than the heavier percentage work.
Sounds pretty much like kind of what I do. I use percentages. I always use percentages. And if I usually rotate weeks as far as heavy, light. I'll go, if they're squatting heavy this week and deadlifting heavy, if they do both in the same week, probably heavy, the next week both of them probably gonna be light.
Right.
Then the next week probably gonna be heavy again, even though we're still ramping it up and pyramiding up.
Right.
At the same
It's
time.
funny. Pretty much everybody does the same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody that's good, what we do is there are some minor differences, but it's all like, the same relative principles.
Yeah, because after doing it a while, experience and this common sense of knowing what works and
You
what
figure
hadn't
out what
worked.
works.
Yeah, because you had to, because I've failed before with people and I failed with myself before. You know that, okay, that don't work. We go, have to change that. You got to fail in order to succeed sometimes.
I agree 100%. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot to be said for that. There's a lot of people that are, book learned.
He's right.
Went maybe we could talk about this all the time, PhDs.
Right, exactly.
A PhD in lifting weights is worthless, man.
Exactly.
Henry Rollins said, knowledge without mileage is bullshit. I agree with that.
That's true. I pretty much learned everything I learned
in the trenches.
Exactly. Myself, we didn't have what these guys have now, the internet.
You got to earn your stripes, man. That's what I said. We didn't have the internet. We had it was like chat rooms, but nothing like this. There wasn't information like this.
Nothing.
It's almost too much. I was talking about that in an article recently. I think it's too much. It's
It is because
it's confusing.
I mean, you'll find a guy that chooses a program one week, and then hop in, and he'll hop the next program the next month. I just hop.
No, I agree. Program hop. There's too many options, and there's too much stuff to think about too.
Yep.
I find that I was talking about this recently. Guys, they're worried about, am I getting, is my psoas muscle is engaged,
Right.
My psoas muscle's too tight. You gotta talk about the psoas muscle. I'm fucking out, man. That's it. I'm done. There's no reason to discuss that when you're teaching somebody how to squat unless you're trying to have that.
Well, I didn't know who you were until this weekend, and we were coaching the deadlift together. We were coaching together, and I was totally impressed with your knowledge on everything that you brought to the table.
Well, thank you,
man. Because I was like, that's what I go like, sweet, go ahead, answer that straight. because you was like, you was handling the way I did.
Show her that.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, you got it.
It was really an honor to work with you. I was looking forward to it. I didn't know who you were before this weekend.
You did?
I did. Definitely.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely did. Yeah.